this next episode of the CouncilCast, episode 142, being recorded on November 3rd, 2020. Today is election day, and we are going to do absolutely no coverage of the election. So, the council is now in session, and as with every week, no special exception for today, we will make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit, with little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything whatsoever.
How did Silas turn invisible?
He took a special pill.
Oh
It's
my.
the latest lens available on the iPhone.
Wow.
Actually, he's using two iPhones at once, and it cancels themselves out. It's either that, or maybe he didn't show up on this meteorite that crashed to Earth, bringing life with it, which is apparently what a meteorite in Michigan is confirming, because it has pristine organic compounds on it. So this is apparently a meteorite that fell a couple years ago in onto a frozen lake in Michigan 2 years ago. Then it was special because it was so quickly recovered, and they apparently, because of that, were able to pull a lot of organic compounds off of it, possibly explaining how life got onto Earth in the first place.
Oh my.
Yeah, so they're saying there was untainted extraterrestrial organic compounds that is carbon-based.
I've seen this movie before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we're all dead.
We're already dead?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
No, wait. How many sci-fi movies have that basic premise that life comes to Earth on an asteroid, or not asteroid, but a meteor or whatever?
From space?
Yeah, as opposed to other areas that meteors come from.
As opposed to coming from the ocean.
Okay.
I mean, this meteorite's not very big. I mean, they have a picture of this dude pointing at what he found, and it's like the size of a rock, a tiny rock. It's like that big.
Wow.
I don't even know how it made it to Earth. That thing's tiny.
When
It
did
was
it?
bigger.
I mean, yeah, probably didn't start out that small.
When did it hit?
2018.
Hmm.
It landed in Strawberry Lake in Hamburg, Michigan. So apparently he found it within about 48 hours and then took it to the Field Museum in Chicago. And apparently it's pretty rare. So there you go. You know, maybe this is going to unlock the history of how we got here, or maybe it'll bring some new alien life form to us and it's going to destroy us all.
Money's on destruction.
All right. That's fair. I also like how the guy's name who is talking about this, who was quoted during the article's name is Heck. So, I guess, give it a thumbs up. I'm good with this. Way to find
Like
a
his
little
name.
tiny rock.
Thumbs up.
Sure.
Sure. Maybe not quite as big of a discovery as finding out that there's apparently evidence of multiple
Thumbs up for
underground
space.
lakes.
Matt
Little
coming in
delay
late
there.
with the
Matt.
space.
Matt's lagging a little.
I'm mildly preoccupied with other things.
He doesn't have an internet issue. He's just lagging mentally.
It's real life lag.
Real life lag.
Yeah, the maybe it was a rock that could have landed on Mars, where there is multiple underground lakes that scientists have apparently found evidence of.
Why don't you come say that to my face, Brian?
Real late.
So are these lakes under the ground of Mars, or I mean, how do they figure this out?
Now I'm afraid Brian is mentally lagging.
I'm just trying to make sure that I don't go too fast for Matt. That's all.
They actually drove a machine into the lake. I guess I don't know. They built a submarine and floated around on the surface of Mars.
There's a submarine on Mars?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Under the surface,
I mean-
exploring the underground lakes that exist on Mars.
I mean, the latest rover had a helicopter, so why couldn't one of them have a submarine?
I think this is all ridiculous guesswork. We're going to get there someday, and we're going to go, there's nothing here. There's no
is
water.
the submarine
there's
yellow?
No there's nothing here at all.
It's
And
entirely
we can't
possible.
get back. So, what's that?
It's entirely possible. I mean,
It's entirely possible.
to be honest, they don't 100% know. All they're saying is that, hey, when we hit it with a bunch of radio waves, it does something different. And they're like, maybe that's water. I don't know.
Maybe that's water.
Makes for a good headline. Why not?
I think thumbs up for guessing, because, I mean, we're doing a great job with Mars guessing.
I mean, it's certainly not a big lake. They're only saying it's about 20 miles across, so...
It's as big as the meteor that hit Earth.
How big is that, Brian?
It's pretty small,
All right.
honestly.
Pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe we should be sending submarines with all this water they're finding on Mars, maybe we should send a submarine there to go explore it. Maybe put a little Martian man in it, let him pilot it.
Martian Man. I think that's right. It's not racist. It's from another planet. What is that, Matt?
Are you xenophobic?
Xenophobic. That's it.
That's racist. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a thumbs down because we haven't sent a submarine there yet. So I think next time, and the best part about submarines is you probably don't even need to land it. You can probably just let it shoot straight into the lake.
Hmm.
No parachutes needed.
None. Thumbs up for space. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Matt's line.
That's fine. You can borrow it. I
It's
just like
pretty
it
good.
back.
It's a pretty good one, so I'll take it this time.
Well, what could maybe give you a thumbs up is Toyota's new robot butler, that hangs from the ceiling in your kitchen. So this reminds me of in Back to the Future. They're in the future house, and
Is this
The
when
fruit
they go to
comes
the
down
future
from the
or when they
ceiling?
go back to the future?
yeah, and everything comes down from the ceiling. This is exactly what
Yes.
this reminds me of. So apparently Toyota has finally created it, which is just basically a robot arm on a gantry system that can move through, I don't know, along your ceiling, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how effective this is going to be to implement into houses, because you might want a ceiling at some point. And I feel like a gantry...
Does it move along a track? Or
Yeah, like on the edge of the room. It's like one of those big overhead crane type of systems where there's like rails on either side of the room, and then it can kind of roll back and forth across it.
Huh.
And side to side. I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind it if it cooked dinner for me, but
it sounds like something you hit your head on.
yeah, it certainly does. I mean, I guess it gets the robot off of your floor. I mean, how many people have said I don't have enough floor space for my robot?
Dang robots, always underfoot. It'd be better if it were hanging from the ceiling. What
Yeah,
is
I'm
it
not-
supposed to do?
Just help you.
Yeah, what's its function?
Just hang
whatever
from
you
the
want it to
ceiling?
do. Yeah. So I mean, they're talking about using it for like elderly people, so people aged 65 or over. That just kind of helps them, I guess, literally do whatever. They talk about using it to complete tasks like cleaning, loading the dishwasher. I mean, it probably can't make dinner for you, but I guess maybe pick up like a heavy book. I don't know.
That sounds pretty cool.
I mean, I'd like to see how it gets implemented into a house. I'd like to see that first, because I don't necessarily think that everybody has like 12-foot ceilings that they could mount this into their house, retrofit it. Maybe I'm just waiting for a Mr. Handy to come out and it just floats around. No floor space, no ceiling space.
I say thumbs up for ceiling robots. I like that.
Yeah, I gotta have to. I'm gonna have to go with thumbs up on just the robot in general for helping me. I don't know. I'm gonna go with a thumbs up.
This is election night. Don't everyone vote at once.
Don't worry. The polls never close around here.
Goodness.
But you know what does close is apparently all the games that you bought on your Oculus VR headset. If you apparently delete your Facebook account.
Or your Facebook account gets banned.
Yeah. So apparently now
It's
Oculus,
because you don't own anything. If you're paying for it on the internet and not getting a physical copy of the thing, and even sometimes then, you don't actually own it.
What do you mean you don't actually own it if you pay for it and you have access to it?
Like video games, they can take that
Yeah.
shit away at any time. You're paying for the license to utilize it.
What about if you buy a movie from Amazon? Do you own it, or do you just buy the right to use it, to watch it whenever you want?
the second part.
You
The
mean
second
like
part.
a Blu-ray, or you buy it digital version?
Digital.
Okay, Amazon goes tits up tomorrow. You don't have your movie anymore. You didn't own it. That's the litmus
Well, I
test.
did own it. I did own it, but I kept it with them, and they did what you said. And so don't they just owe me another movie? Shouldn't they just send me a Blu-ray because they screwed up and lost my digital copy?
Amazon doesn't exist anymore. They went out of business. In my scenario, they can't send you shit.
Okay.
The best part about it is when you go bankrupt or you don't exist anymore, you have no money to pay anybody.
That's interesting. That I don't own the movie. I just own the right to watch it whenever I want.
Pretty much, if you buy it on digital. Which is kind of what Facebook is saying. So, Facebook bought Oculus a number of years ago, and they apparently are changing some rules around basically requiring you to have a Facebook account in order to use your Oculus. And on top of that, if you delete or deactivate your account with Facebook, you will also lose access to all of your Oculus games as well.
So on a kind of similar note, what's the deal with Facebook kicking people off because they post the wrong words or the wrong sentences? I mean, is that really happening? Is there
What?
do they have people actually checking the sites out, or is the computer analyzing what you type and say and getting it wrong and kicking you off?
I mean, your account can be banned for breaking their terms of service.
Well, I realize that, but is that done by a human, or is it done by a computer and algorithm, or are they monitoring everything and then?
I'm
or is it-
sure
how's
it's
it
a computer
screened?
doing it.
Usually it's automated
Hmm.
based on a bunch of stuff.
That would be my guess. They're probably like, anytime there's a Brian on Facebook, we just delete this account.
They have to manually verify every Brian that gets.
The algorithms already flagged me.
Brian's not a very common name, so it probably only comes up every couple months or something like that.
There you go. I'm sorry. I figured you guys would know. I just heard that people are getting kicked off and that really didn't need to be, so I didn't know if that was true.
I mean, it's kind of related to this, though, in that people, I think, were maybe rightfully so. I'm not sure if you really have a right to be pissed off about Oculus and Facebook, since they own Oculus, to take away your games if you get rid of your account, I guess. I mean, I guess it would be kind of the same thing if you like in Matt's example, let's say you bought your video game or you bought your movie on Amazon digitally, and then tomorrow you decide, I'm just going to cancel my account. I mean,
you really don't have access to it. You don't have access
to it anymore. So I guess it's kind of the same thing. I don't know.
I think if you were a Kickstarter purchaser, then you probably might.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. Yeah. That's probably true. I think it's a little lame. I mean, I do think that people should have still access to something. Facebook's kind of being dumb, so I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Thumbs down for Facebook, though.
Thumbs down for Facebook.
That's all right. Because, in this next story, you can maybe give a whale's tail up for this one, which is
what?
A Dutch train this week apparently ended up becoming part of a huge sculpture because it went off the tracks and ran into a sculpture. So this is in the Netherlands.
Of course.
The train was in.
Sorry to all of our Netherlands
I don't know how to pronounce this town. Spikense? I don't know. But anyway, there's a train station. It's up like on an elevated platform, and I'm just going to describe the picture for all of our audio listeners. But the train station is raised up on a platform, and at the end of the platform there is like a sculpture with a whale's tail coming out of the ground, and the train apparently did not stop at its normal stop and went all the way off the platform and is now supported by that whale's tail.
That's awesome. So they're required by law to leave it there, right?
I am pretty sure that has to be the case. I mean,
got to move the train station, the tracks, the town, everything's got to be moved.
I mean, it was probably cheaper for them to run the train. I can only imagine that this was planned because I'm sure it was cheaper to run the train off the tracks onto the sculpture than it would have been just to put the train on the sculpture in the first place.
That seems ridiculous.
Which part?
Yeah, you'll think
All
ridiculous until you go on vacation to see this thing.
I mean, yeah, it's a tourist attraction. It is art now. It's new art.
Well, that's what
Did you go see the train with the whale?
That's what people are saying now. Is they're actually saying maybe we should just leave the train there and have it become just a part of the sculpture.
That'd be neat.
I'm sure the person that did the sculpture is like,
actually,
all right.
Actually, he said the guy who did the sculpture, he was interviewed by because the sculpture was put up in 2002. So the dude's still alive, and he was interviewed by Dutch national broadcasters. And he says it's been there for almost 20 years, and you actually expect the plastic to pulverize a bit, but this is apparently not the case. And when they asked him if he felt the rail car should be made a permanent piece of the fixture, he said, "I absolutely think it should."
Not my best work anyway.
He's probably like, double thumbs up, you made it better. He's like, actually, there's two whale tails. He's like, can you do it on the other side now?
There you go. Thumbs up for life and art working together. And for whale tail.
How fucking scary would that have been to be on the train that just went off the edge?
I mean, and it's not like a little bit off the edge. Like, it's a lot of it off the edge. It was like at midnight when it happened, and it was only the driver on the train. But yeah, thumbs up for whales saving lives. Whale tails saving lives. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Work.
But you know what might not save lives is being allergic to the cold. I mean, how
I have that allergy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, how many people that you know, or yourself, you get out of like a nice hot shower and you're just like, oh my god, it's so cold, I'm like gonna die. Because literally that almost happened to this guy. This guy apparently got out of a hot shower, and as soon as he got out, he was 34 years old, and he collapsed and went into anaphylactic shock.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see your blood pressure bottoming out.
I guess. I don't know.
Something else happened.
Apparently, he went to the hospital. They treated him like he had low blood pressure, and apparently the doctors are saying that he had a severe allergic reaction to the cold air.
I don't think so.
They rubbed an ice cube on his skin, and he broke out into hives.
That's not a real thing. What are you making this stuff up for?
Apparently, he has a history of being allergic to the cold because he apparently moved from Micronesia to Colorado, and when he did that, he started having hives break out on his skin, and they did. Apparently, rubbed an ice cube, and that was it.
They knock him out and then rub the ice cube on his skin? Because I'll bet it's all...
No, that's definitely
psychosomatic.
What's that?
Psychosomatic.
Yes. And the other word you said earlier.
Real?
What was that? I don't know. Psychosomatic. Yeah, he made that whole thing up in his head. Right, Silas?
Obviously. Thumbs up, baby!
You turned off the other iPhone, huh?
Yeah, there you go. He stopped canceling himself out.
I don't know. I think that's not a real thing. You can't be allergic to the cold.
Apparently the researchers are saying it's possible.
There was a girl in my high school class that would break out into hives if she put her hand in cold water, like ice cold water.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that was even possible. So
interesting. Thumbs up for the truly bizarre. Allergic to the cold.
Yeah, I mean, thumbs up for.
Can you get like a doctor's excuse to like and get paid to move somewhere that's warm?
There you go.
Like,
I doubt you.
For insurance reasons, can you get the insurance?
Somewhere.
Can he get his insurance to pay him to move to a warm area? Because he can't live in Colorado anymore.
No, this is insurance they're dealing with. I mean, that would make the most logical sense. Instead, they probably would like pay to build like some stupidly expensive heated hut for him to like travel around in.
Like a car?
Like a bubble?
Yeah.
No, not like a car. But it would have wheels and be temperature controlled. There'd be an option for music, a few seats if you want to have friends there.
Yeah.
Definitely not a car.
And I mean, it probably would cost, if I had to guess, like $2 million.
Or 30 or 40,000 if you got a car. Dual climate control.
Man.
There you go.
Wow.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our Elon Musk pitches for the week.
Good. I'm glad I made it for this.
And we're going to go with Mr. Silas first. What's your pitch for tonight?
My pitch is a time machine so that I can show up on time to things that I miss, like the beginning 90% of CouncilCast.
That's okay. Matt was here and he didn't say a thing.
No response. He's still not talking.
Shut up, Brian.
Yep, that's all he said. One other time he said something rude to me too.
Yeah.
It took him like 5 minutes after I said something for him to reply back.
Basically, the time turner mechanism from Harry Potter, that's all that I want.
I love that thing.
I want exactly that. If it is anything more or anything less than it, throw it away.
Throw it away.
Complete garbage. All right.
Complete garbage.
So if it's better than the time turner, you don't want it.
Nope.
No.
I want it to
No.
be just as good, not better, not worse.
Does it have to look exactly like the one in the movies?
Exactly. I want it to be an exact
So if it has the
No.
same function,
working replica.
yet looks different, no good.
No good. It must be thrown away.
Okay.
Actually,
Exact working episode.
Actually, it must be based off of the book description of it, not the movie's
Not the
description.
movie description. If it's the movie description, throw it away. And there are all these working time machines sitting around. They're just been thrown onto the scrap heap. That sounds like a Bugs Bunny cartoon idea, right? Like at the end, they're like, "Well, what do we do with it? I don't know. Let's throw it away. Put it with the rest of the pile." That's what you say. And then there's this mountain of time machines that obviously work, but have just been discarded for the most ridiculous reasons.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
And then I want him to film it because I'd love to watch that happen. That's
All
what I
right.
think.
Well, if you had a time turner or whatever time machine device, you could probably do it over and over again.
That would be amazing.
Ooh, Bugs Bunny. I've been watching Michael Jordan, The Last Dance on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
And
Did he talk about
he's-
Space Jam?
Yeah, he's filming Space Jam in the episode I'm watching, and during the day he's filming Space Jam, and in the evening he's playing pickup games with the best players in the NBA. He invited him to come to, I guess, Hollywood or wherever he was at shooting that. And he's like, "I've got some time in the evening. Why don't we play some pickup games?" Warner Brothers made me a court, and so it has this beautiful wood court all laid out. It's a huge, giant tented area, and he's there in the evenings for about 3 hours playing with the best players in the NBA are stopping by to play pickup games with him.
No wonder his acting was subpar in that movie. He was exhausted from playing basketball all night. Michael,
That's a pretty good pitch.
take a cue from your son. Commit to the craft. All right?
Time
Commit to the
machine.
craft.
That only makes sense.
I give that a thumbs up. Let's Elon just make more basketball courts for Michael Jordan. That was your pitch, wasn't it?
Oh, I wasn't making a pitch.
Oh, he was talking to me.
All right. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I like time machines. Sure.
Time
I'll
machine
take one.
would be good.
Oh man.
I have a pitch. I would like to see Elon make a climate controlled moving something that you could control the climate, where it's hot or cold, and then you could go places in it. Something like that, I think, would be
Moving
great.
Enclosed space that is
Climate
able
controlled.
to
One of the things
other places.
he's
Gotcha.
talked about being the next potential place for disruption or super improvement is HVAC stuff for homes and businesses.
Really?
Yep.
How is he going to disrupt that system? Is he going to make
No fucking idea.
Here,
He has some leftover
think
parts
about
from
how
one of his
inefficient
cars.
those systems are, though.
They're not.
It's because it's the refrigeration cycle. I want to see. I
They're
want to see them
not.
improve the
They're
refrigeration
not
cycle.
inefficient.
Like HVAC system, you can get like a 93% HVAC system right now.
Right,
They're
but
expensive.
on what metrics? This is my question. They're like, 93% of what?
93%
50%
of
of
the
what you could be
energy
doing?
is transferred into the air that gets heated.
If they came up with a rating system, I don't trust them.
big consumer reports.
Dave is so upset.
Why the fuck are you sitting here stewing about HVAC? You have a dog in this fight?
Yeah, I do.
Are you like going to night HVAC school and we don't know about it?
He's so mad. I've never seen Dave that mad about
Fucking-
anything.
He's
And
gonna
of all the
rage
things to
quit.
get
Just
upset about, it was HVAC.
I had the actual answer, and you're like, fake news, bitch.
That's how America works.
I'm just like,
Fake news.
Silas, why the fuck do you have to be so dickish?
93% efficiency, and they landed on the moon.
Yeah,
All
but that's 7%
same category
really
right
big.
over here.
Yeah, the 7% is actually millions and millions of air follicles that
Okay, Hal.
that you have to deal with.
How to get a makeover? And Hal is like, first you gotta comb your hair. You gotta. Well, that works. Damn it.
Comb your air follicles.
I mean, they've already got like the variable fan controls and the multi-zones and all of that shit now for homes.
Right. I mean, they do that, but here's the problem that I have with HVAC systems in general. You end up in one room, and then you're like, why is it cold in this room? And you're like, oh, the HVAC system, that 7% is always just like one room that doesn't want to cooperate with anything.
So
That's what it means. 93% efficient means that 93% of your
So
home
what you're saying
perfectly
is that
cool
you
and
want
heated.
to have a
That
multi-zone.
7% is that one room you're
It's
stuck
just
in.
like
Silas,
weather
it's called a
reports.
closet.
It's like weather reports where it's not there's a 50% chance of rain. It's a 50%. It's
the area is
that
getting
50%
rained
of the coverage area will get rain. When you tell people that, their brain fucking melts. Mine did.
Oh,
I was
swear,
like, I was like,
next time I have to
you're
buy a
fucking
furnace, I'm
lying.
gonna remember that.
Actually, I'm
Only
kind of
maybe
having
3% of your house is
my
heated.
brain is kind of not computing. That's what that actually means.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Why don't the weathermen explain that?
Because people's brains would melt and they wouldn't believe it.
Oh,
Oh, if I have to
Congratulations.
buy a
That makes
furnace,
way
I'm
more
asking
sense.
the guy, what 7% of my house is going to be cold? I want you to show me.
So I'm convinced that most HVAC systems in most homes are just shittily designed.
I
Oh
would
yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
Well, because they're cheap. What
yeah.
did you expect? What do you get for
That's what I-
$100?
that's
No,
why-
I
that's
mean
why I think that there
I'm
is
talking
room.
I'm talking ductwork and
Yeah,
like
I would
the like return design and all that shit and like undersizing of returns.
Because it's cheap.
That's where I think that if he comes in, he can be like, "Oh, look, let's just make the
He'll make
the pieces to
look,
work with the
it's-
machines
it's
that is going to be
size of a
efficient, but also we're going to
fist,
create our
and
own
it
machine
cools
that
and
is
heats your house.
98% efficient or whatever."
But you can make a good one. It's just expensive to find somebody to do that, and you can't retrofit a house that's already built. You
I'm
have
sure
to
if
build
Elon
the
Musk-
house from the ground up to support a good HVAC, and you have to design it with HVAC in mind.
Yep.
Which
I'm
most
sure if
people
Elon
don't.
built something HVAC wise, it would be cheap and available for everyone.
Like
I'm pretty sure it's just going to
Skynet.
look like baseboard heaters.
I
Those
mean,
things are efficient.
or you can have
Radiators.
HVAC like mine, which is I think it's 18 years old.
Or just an open flame. You know, that's
They're just gonna
Boom, on.
take a bunch of like those
There's just a guy standing in the corner blowing through a straw to cool you off.
those little wheelie things that IV bags hang on. They're gonna like chop those halfway off and shove Elon onto one of them, and he's just gonna blow hot air around the room.
That would do it.
Thumbs up for HVAC.
Sure. Thumbs up for that. Why not?
I prefer
wasn't-
my folding.
wasn't even the idea.
You know,
Silas?
Bye, Silas.
I think my pitch is going to be that I think he needs to come up with a way for people to take votes electronically and allow somebody to tally
Pretty
them
sure we've done this
instantaneously.
before.
What, as a pitch or?
Yeah.
Uh,
If it weren't
Did
for the
we not?
electronic vote, how
I
would
don't
we know
know.
who American Idol was?
well, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
if it's good enough for American Idol, it's good enough for the presidency. I don't understand why we aren't just texting 5367 text one for Trump and 2 for Biden.
We have
I
we
think
have talked about voting via your phone, but not as a pitch.
Randall Monroe
Uh.
has a great quote about electronic voting. There are lots of very smart people doing fascinating work on cryptographic
Cryptographic.
cryptographic voting protocols. We should be funding and encouraging them and doing all of our elections with paper ballots until everyone currently working in that field has retired.
Yeah. Most security people I know, professional security people, and I know a lot of them, would tell you that the idea of voting electronically is a nightmare.
Well, I don't.
XKCD number 2030.
I'm just saying, I don't care. Elon Musk can figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. These are ideas for him to figure out.
You're right. I love passing the buck. It's his problem.
It's his problem now. All right.
He's gonna colonize Mars. He can figure out an electronic vote.
Yeah, they better figure it out. What are they gonna do? Ship the ballots from Mars?
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be impossible.
Talk about voter suppression.
Make sure you get your. Is that going to be one of those? You have to have your ballot mailed in time, or does that have to arrive on time?
Yeah, you gotta mail that shit 4 months in advance. You don't even know who the candidate is yet.
It's crashing down to earth.
All right, Matt.
When your write-in candidate is just for the can't.
Anybody else got a pitch for Mr. Musk tonight? I take that as a no.
Man, I could really go for one of those Futurama suicide booths. Why don't we get some of those?
A suicide booth, like on the street corner. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. It's like telephone booth.
Except it's the suicide booth.
Do they ever show in Futurama how it actually kills you?
Yeah, I think in the first episode.
Do they?
In the pilot, yeah, Fry gets in one. That's how he meets Bender.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
I've only seen through Futurama like once.
You get to choose your method of death.
Oh. Are all of them like maiming and horrific?
Only the last one. The first two are pretty humane, and then the last one is just like a bunch of blades.
There you go. Why not? Well, I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and call this council meeting adjourned.
That's probably for the best.
We do hope you enjoyed your night of election coverage on today. But we do thank you for listening and watching live. For anybody who was watching live, I did not read any of your comments because I was not paying any attention. So yeah, we'll just go with that. But if you do want to check out all of our past episodes, you can find them on YouTube, your favorite podcatcher, or I guess check CouncilCast.org maybe. If you do want to have a topic on the council that we make a decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect with us on Twitter @RealCouncilCast. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.